chaos. Chaos! What is chaos? Is it chaos when you're balding at the ripe age of several hundred years? Take this. Or is it chaos when your core gameplay mechanic of vassalizing your enemies also happens to turn them into absolute lobotomites? Welcome to Warhammer, a game where right now you can experience the magic of losing your will to live by turn 59. Here we have several good people working day and night to bring about change to the world. For example, Festus the Leech Lord, who is a wandering healer cooking up panaceas, or Archon, the human rights activist leading the charge against racism and xenophobia. And obviously, you can't forget about Village, who is severely schizophrenic. So Valkia is part of this diverse group. She is also known as the Red Power Ranger. She has several unique campaign mechanics, like bloodletting, which is awful, and that's about it. So what are my goals for this one? Well, as always, a short campaign victory. And honestly, I didn't really think that far when I played the campaign. But what I can tell you is that, oh boy, do I wish I didn't. So Valkia starts off in the northern parts of Tamriel, with her cone-shaped head easily mistaken for the Assassin's Creed logo. Obviously, suffering from alopecia, or hair loss from excessive tren injection. Either way, using the power of modern technology, we can help her. So being at war with the Dark Elves, or better known through the racial slur, Druki, I had a trick up my sleeve. By right-clicking really hard, I watched how my several angry men rushed into what's probably several very scared men, while my very angry dogs and cavalry took over their back line. Well, this is honestly as good as it's gonna get with the Khorne faction. As using ranged or Khorne forbid magic, this works a lot like an abusive home. No, Dad, I don't wanna join the dirty parties. I wanna go out and get covered in hot liquid with the boys, said the young Khorne marauder to his clear Slaneshi father. Well, winning that in more ways than one, I guess, we went on to Dagrek's End, and the keen eyed of you will see a golden symbol, unironically a land promised to us. This makes it a dark fortress, which is the only settlement we need, as all the other ones turn into disappointments. Taking it over, it works exactly like a normal settlement, while the other one are given to our vassal, which is a nice way of calling this absolute troglodyte. We also have two different currencies, favor and souls. So instead of using money, we use favor, which truth be told is probably just as real money. And souls, quite literally souls from our enemies or our people. I haven't really figured that one out. That we can use for gifts from our corporate overlords. Our chaos god of choice. Our units can also be recruited from the warband. Now there is some mechanic here I am not aware of because I do not read, but through injecting copious amounts of steroid we can upgrade these boring units into angry red ones. So moving on, recruiting Rulek, I sent him on to the Glacial Gardens to give to my useless vassal, while Valkia had to go south for a personal growth journey. After spreading the word of Khorne, Galadriel, no relation, sent a peace agreement. Too bad, reading is illegal. By rolling a nat 20 in persuasion, we encourage them to give up and we can integrate them towards the good cause. Now left with a horrible choice of who will fall down the stairs first, the Witch King or this old woman. As you would have it, the old woman is currently fighting against the orcs, which gives me a good reason to save her. And this not what I expected. Having a new lobotomite, we attack the crone from the front and back. And looking at the crone, she probably likes that. At the end turn, I was surprisingly attacked. Surprise, now me personally, I wouldn't attack a group of literally violence-worshipping maniacs, so using my advanced tactic of right-clicking individually, I sent my minions to battle. This turned out great. Valkia managed to place herself right in the middle of about 8 units, as you do when you have the IQ of a sledgehammer. This of course went according to plan, as my other units with anger issues managed to surround them. I don't know what's going on, and looking at the units, neither does the AI. While losing only 51 people, after that strategic genius, I auto-resolved and took over the Spite's Reach. While Sporticus, my new permanent friend here, took the Black Pillar. And in the next turn, using diplomacy, the crone joined the cause. Rescued. Now if you remember, I said settlements are bad unless it's promised to us by God. That was a complete lie. You can and you should take settlements to sell them back to your future friend. Here you can see despite reach being sold for 5,492 favors, which I don't know what they're paying me with if we don't use gold. Well, a couple of turns later, local femboy Sigwald appeared, Valkia having testosterone in the 5 digits, obviously couldn't pass such an opportunity. Now to the untrained eye, this might look like a close battle, but you would be completely wrong. Using the tried and true tactic of minimal micromanagement, I gave most of my units something to do. And some of you might be asking, why play Warriors of Chaos and not real Chaos? A fair question. Well, diversity. And after only using corn units, I gotta say, it was not worth it. But it could be worse. I could be a Chinese brothel boy during the Qing dynasty named the Velvet Hidden Flower. But anyway, sending them upon the fanboy army, and Sigwald, just like a brothel boy, was not fearing for his life, but his virginity. So he decided to face Valkia in an honorable duel, what would be later known as a big mistake.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Winning, I took over Frozen City, and seeing the looming threat of Halthor Mammoth Rider, perhaps this was not a threat, but a call for help. But a few turns later, I was ready for what turned out to be a massive waste of time. Moving towards the Fortress of the Damned, I had another encounter with Sigwald, who apparently caught Stockholm Syndrome. Having another honorable duel, it ended as you would expect.
The truth is, I want you to resist.
With Valkia having explored hidden cavities, Sigwald was never the same. Unfortunately, here I made a small mistake. I accidentally banished Sigwald permanently. But you know, everybody makes mistakes. Some accidentally spill coffee, others gamble their life savings away. Fortunately, not all is lost. Through my diplomatic expertise, I had Cardinal Stare here.
I will butcher you and every one of your terrified servants.
Really looks into the soul, this one. By giving him a settlement, he became a lobotomite. And after taking Photide Catacombs, what the hell is a Photide? Ah, of course, it means Maladors. Well, I got the Harald Hammerstrom, a legendary hero unlike someone else. And looking at this, I am becoming unreasonably upset. For the next couple of turns, being at war with this random faction, well, interesting offer, but I rather avoid chlamydia. After, I went over and took quite a lot of settlements, until I reached the Twisted Towers, which I later decided to move right, because you know, at this point, might as well. Meeting Malus Darkblade here, I decided to hand him a surprise. But not before helping Hellcroft Vorgus. What kind of... So helping Daniel Warhammer here by making him a permanent employee of what is probably the best corporation to ever exist. Built on nothing but rage, blood and hatred. So your typical 9 to 5. So here's the part that made me question existence. Ogud here, looking like a decent fella, was clearly sieging Malus' capital. But the moment I made him my vassal, it's like all his syphilis-infected brain cells just withered away. This army literally just walked into their capital and stayed there for the rest of the game. Well, moving on, a couple of turns later, Valkia met Malus. Beating up Malus, I took over some of his land, while also making environmentally healthy choices. Mostly because my vassals, those goddamn troglodytes, do not deserve free handouts. And seeing that I don't have enough problems, it's time for a fight with the Witch King. Sieging Nagorond, I later decided to loot it, because I love money. Or favor. And what's this? My vassals doing something? Of course not, they are just a bunch of miscreants. While taking over Malus, I was finally at the border of Archon, the ever-chosen. And you know, might as well, launched a tactical attack, letting Valkia face Archon. She was absolutely whooping his ass. Having this engaging 2v2, I completely forgot about all my other units. Fortunately, this did not matter whatsoever. Valkia struck the final blow on Archon, sending him back to the Shadow Realm, and having met my short campaign victory, it was about at this point, feelings and thoughts of life and its livable worth start showing up. My vassals are just complete degenerates. Well, time to play a real faction instead. And would you look at that, Tomb Kings might not be so useless anymore. Well, Nagash knows when the next video is up, because I certainly don't. If you wanna see me tackle long questionable books next time, subscribe. Only if you want to. I'm not your dad. Or your mom. Well, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Bye.